There is a specific kind of gift that nobody knows how to receive. Not because it is unwanted, because of what it cost. Not in money, in the thing that had to happen first, before the gift could exist, before the door could open. The door opens like wings, wide, sudden, full of possibility, and you stand there and you cannot walk through it. Because walking through it means accepting something you have not accepted yet. That the person who built the door is gone. That the opening is also a closing. That the gift and the grief are the same object, seen from different sides. Tonight, 3 people, 3 doors that opened, 3 amounts of money that arrived because someone died, and the specific paralysis that comes from standing in front of something you wanted and not being able to want it anymore. The first story starts with a car. Not the car he bought. The car he looked at for 11 months. His name was Marcus. He was 38. His father died in January. Lung cancer. 14 months from diagnosis to the end. He had been there for all of it. Every appointment, every conversation about what came next. Every silence that meant they both knew what was coming. His father left him $100,000. Not from a life insurance policy, from a savings account that Marcus had not known existed. He found out on a Tuesday afternoon in March, 2 months after the funeral, sitting in his car outside the attorney's office. He remembers the specific smell of the office. Coffee and paper and something slightly stale. The kind of room where difficult things happen with professionalism. He nodded. He shook hands. He walked to his car. He sat down. And then it hit him. Not the money. The account. His father had been putting money in an account for him without telling him, the way his father did everything important, quietly, without asking for credit. He had not cried at the funeral. He cried in the car. He sat in the attorney's parking lot for 47 minutes. He knows because he looked at the time when he got in. And he looked at it again when he started the engine. 47 minutes. He thinks about it sometimes. How grief finds its own specific numbers. How 47 becomes a kind of marker for the moment when something changed. He told his wife. She held him for a long time without saying anything. That was March. By June, he had bought the BMW. He drove home. He parked it in the driveway. He sat in it for a while. His wife came out. She asked if he was okay. He said he didn't know. She sat in the passenger seat. They sat there for a while. Neither of them said anything. Then he said it felt wrong to be happy about it. She said she knew. He said he didn't know how to spend the rest of it. She said they didn't have to figure it out yet. He said his father would have had an opinion. She said yes. He said his father always had an opinion about money. She said that's true. He said he wished he could ask him. She said, I know. They sat in the driveway until it got dark. Here is what sudden inheritance does to a person who is also grieving. It creates a specific kind of paralysis. The money is real. The need for decisions is real. The grief is also real. And grief does not make decisions well. Grief wants to preserve, to keep things as they were, to not move anything, because moving it means accepting the finality of what happened. Spending the money feels like letting go. Not spending the money feels like waiting for permission from someone who cannot give it anymore. Marcus did not invest the remaining $87,000 for 9 months. It sat in a savings account, earning 0.9%. Not because he didn't know better, because every time he opened the account, he saw his father's name on the wire transfer, and he wasn't ready to move past it. He moved the money in December. His daughter helped him. She was 11. She asked him why the money was just sitting there. He said he was figuring it out. She said, Pop would have said, that's dumb. He laughed for the first time in a long time. He moved the money the next day. He drives the BMW. He thinks about his father sometimes when he gets in. He no longer feels guilty about it. He thinks his father would have had an opinion about the car. Probably not a positive one. But his father would have understood the thing underneath the car. The thing that needed to be purchased. The proof that life was still going. That the door was walkable. The second story is Christina's. You know her already. The firefighter's wife. The slow cooker on Thursday at 4:18. The form on the table with the date still wet. $500,000 in a checking account for 8 months, earning nothing. You know the numbers. What you don't know is what it felt like to open the account. She tells it this way. Every time she logged in, she saw the balance. $500,000 and the name of the transfer. His name. His employer's life insurance policy. His personal policy on top. Both of them paying out to her. Because he had run toward things. Because that was the arrangement. She planned. He ran toward things. And part of running toward things was building the policies. Building the plan for the version of the future where he didn't come home. She had signed the forms. She had never believed they would be needed. She opened the account one morning in August, 2 months after June. She sat at the kitchen table, the same table where the graduation form had been. She looked at the number for a long time. $500,000. His name on the transfer. She closed the laptop. She did not open it again for 3 weeks. She tried to explain it to her sister once. Why she couldn't move the money. Her sister said, it's just sitting there. You should do something with it. She said, I know. Her sister said Dave would want you to do something with it. She said, I know. Her sister said, you're losing money every day. She said, "I know." She didn't try to explain it again after that. How do you explain that the money is not just money? That the balance on the screen is his voice, saying, "I thought about you," saying, "I planned ahead," saying, "I ran toward the hard things so you wouldn't have to"? How do you explain that moving the money feels like turning off that voice? At the end of the session, the advisor said something she has not forgotten. She said, "The money is not a memorial. It is a tool he left you. He did not leave it for you to preserve. He left it for you to use." She drove home. She sat in the driveway for a while. Then she went inside. She moved the money the following week. The third story is Lisa's. $800,000 in a checking account, earning nothing. The business still running, the employees still showing up, the clients still paying, the list still on the kitchen counter under the blue mug. She had been married for 23 years. He had handled the numbers. That was the arrangement. Not written down, not agreed upon out loud, just understood. She found out what was in the accounts 3 weeks after the funeral. Not because she looked, because the bank called. A check had bounced. A small one, $340, for the feed supplier. She drove to the bank. The manager sat across from her. He showed her the balances. $800,000 in the checking account. $1 million in the retirement. Several other accounts she had not known existed. She sat there for a long time. The manager waited. She said she hadn't known about some of these. He said, "That's okay." She said, "Is it?" He said, "We can help you figure out what to do." She said she needed a minute. She looked out the window. The parking lot was ordinary. Cars, pavement, a tree that was starting to lose its leaves. She did not cry at the bank. She did not cry in the parking lot. She drove home. She fed the dogs. She made dinner. She sat at the kitchen table. The list was still under the blue mug. Same calculation as Christina. Different story underneath it. For Christina, the paralysis was grief wearing the clothes of caution. For Lisa, the paralysis was something else. She was not afraid of the money. She did not know the money existed. And when she found it, she was not sure it was hers. Not legally. It was legally hers. But she had spent 23 years building a life where the numbers belonged to him. The money felt like his, even after he was gone. She says it this way: moving the money felt like making a decision without him, which was the thing she had never had to do before, and the thing she was going to have to do for the rest of her life. Moving the money was not just a financial decision. It was the first one, the first of everything that was going to come next. The list was still under the blue mug. She moved the mug. She looked at the list for a long time. Then she picked up a pen. She crossed out the form that needed his signature. That one was not for her. The others still were. She put the mug back. She went to bed. The next morning, she called the bank manager back. She said she was ready to start. He said, okay. She said she didn't know what she was doing. He said, that's fine. She said she was going to need things explained. He said, of course. She said she was going to need someone patient. He said, we can do that. She said, okay. And she started. 3 doors. 3 people who stood in front of them. 3 versions of the same paralysis. The money is real. The grief is real. The need to act is real. And grief does not make decisions well. But grief also does not last forever in the same form. It changes. It becomes something you carry differently. Not lighter exactly, just carried differently. And on the day it is carried differently enough, the door becomes walkable. Here's what grief does to financial decisions. It does not make them impossible. It makes them feel like betrayals. Like moving forward means leaving something behind. Like the money is the last thing, the last piece of him. And as long as it sits where it is, he is still in the story. But the money sitting does not keep him in the story. It just costs $3,000 a month, and the story continues, whether the money moves or not. What changes when the money moves is not the grief. The grief stays. What changes is the shape it takes, and the ability to act inside it, to make the decision he would have wanted you to make, to use the tool he left, the way he built it to be used. Marcus drove through his on a Saturday afternoon in June. Christina walked through hers on a Tuesday in November. Lisa took her first step on a morning in October, when she called the bank manager and said she was ready to start. None of them felt ready. Ready is not the requirement. The requirement is the step, just the first one. The door is already open. It has been open since the day they left. They built it that way, so you could walk through when you were ready, or when you decided that ready was not coming. And the step was better than the waiting. The door opens like wings, wide, sudden, full of everything. Walk through it. That is what they built it for.